Welcome to Small Business Saturdays video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome into Small Business Saturdays. My name is Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me at oursuccessgroup.com. So good morning to everybody, 8 a.m. here in St. Louis. And today we're going to be talking about choosing your breakthrough goal. So this is the 6th week in a 10-part series. And I've had a great time exploring this with you guys. We're going to hear from Mr. Canfield here in just a moment, and we'll get all that rolling for everybody. But let's check in with folks. Good morning, Christine. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you joining us here this morning. Looking forward to having the Women in Garment Decorating podcast coming up on December 4th on Two Regular Guys over at tworegularguys.com. And I can't wait to sit back and enjoy. I always enjoyed being a part of that, so we can sit back and take it all in and learn and just be part of a great conversation. So good morning, Christine and Wade. Good morning. And Mo, appreciate you checking in this morning. Thanks everybody for being here. Let me get a couple things out of the way here. Well, maybe. There we go. All right. Click, click, click. All right. Perfect. So again, we're talking about choosing your breakthrough goal. This is a 10-week program about going through the Success Principles. Success Principles is a book by Jack Canfield. As those of you that have been tuned in know, Jack Canfield is also the co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. That's where most people know him from. And but I've been following him for a bit. In fact, in the process of finishing up my Success Principles certification. So I'll be a certified trainer, hopefully before the end of the year. We're taking a little road trip here today and plan on spending some time reviewing the last of the training so we can then take the test. My wife, Kylene, is also going through the program with me. So really excited about that. But let's just real quick review here. Let's go back and talk about what we've done in the previous weeks. And you guys can go back and watch those at any time. If you go to Live OSG, there's a playlist for Small Business Saturdays. There's also a playlist for the Success Principles training. So you can just go check out these. But let's just hit the highlights here real quick. Week 1 was be clear why you're here. It was an exercise in working to discover what our why is, what it is that brings us joy and passion, and really get some clarity on what it is that, checks the boxes for us, so to speak, is the way I always look at it. Week 2, we got into deciding what we want. It was a great exercise in kind of understanding, okay, we know why we're here, but then what is it that we want from our life, from our business, from the universe, from whatever it is that you want things from, and then just getting those things down onto paper so you can actually start achieving them. Talked about the story of Lou Holtz and his 101 goals list. I shared my 101 goals list with everybody. So I always love that part because it gives you a chance to really kind of get into what is it that I want. It's one thing to want to do different things, but what is it that you want? And getting over the fact that wanting stuff is not a bad thing. That's what we need to want things because we need to have a goal to shoot for. Good morning, Jerry. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate that. All right. Week 3, we clarified our ideal life vision. And I mentioned this on the Two Regular Guys podcast yesterday, but as we look at all areas of our lives, this is important to then not only understand what we want, but then really have a very clear picture in our mind of what it is that each aspect of our life is when we're at where we want to be. And so how does that look exactly? Get into the real specific details and almost writing a story of the fantasy land that you're going to be in. And that's a great way to look at it. It is a fantasy land right now because it is something that we're not to yet, but it's only a fantasy right now. We can make that a reality, but if we don't know what that fantasy land looks like, we can't make it a reality. And the thing I mentioned in Two Regular Guys podcast yesterday is that I think this is really important for businesses too, because we'll get too siloed, we'll get too focused, we'll get, it's all about this thing that we're working on inside of our business. But why is it that we're doing that? What's the bigger picture? So I think from what I've seen and what I know about myself as a small business owner is that we get too close to it. We get too into the minute details, which is important because we have to do that. That's how we survive. That's how we move our business forward. But we also have to remind ourselves to take a step back and just get real clear on everything. So that was a great exercise in week 3. Week 4 was believe your dream is possible. Just really getting into that mindset of having an inner coach, not an inner critic, and getting into the mindset of saying, yes, I know I can do this. And if you can get to that point where you say, yes, I know I can do this, then it's possible. But until you get past that lack of belief in yourself, it's going to be a challenge. It's still possible. Everything's always possible. It's just you have to believe it. So we worked on getting to that in week 4. Good morning, Julia. Thanks for being here. All right. And then week 5, last week, we talked about getting smart with our goals and the process of specific, measurable, actionable, relative, and trackable. That everybody has a little bit different layout. Time bound, I think, is what Jack used for the T. But basically, it boils down to getting our goals into a thing that we can clearly, A, share with other people and that they can measure for us, and B, allow our subconscious mind to get there. So it boils down into how much and by when. If we can get our goals into a very specific of how much and by when, then we can go after them. But until that time, everything else that we say is just a hope or a wish. If I can't tell somebody what my goal is, and then for them to be able to, on the time I said I want to reach this goal by, look back and without me explaining anything or anything else, if they just know what my goal is, can they tell if I reached it or not? And if they can't, without me explaining it more, then I wasn't clear enough. I wasn't smart enough with my goals. So that's the process there that we did in week 5. And Valerie, 2 weeks in a row of catching live. Wonderful. Good morning. And Nan, good morning. Appreciate you being here. Hopefully you got some rest. I know you've been working hard in the morning. So good to have you along as well. And good morning, Richard and Martha. Great. Thank you guys for being here. We really appreciate that. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. I know some of you have been going through this program and some of you have caught some of them and not all of them. But my real goal and the thing would really help me a lot is if you guys are sharing your thoughts and sharing what's holding you up, what you're getting out of this, what you think about each week and whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and watch the week 6 video here. It's about a 4-minute video from Jack Canfield. So we're going to watch that. And again, I'd love to get any feedback that you guys have. I fortunately get to sit here and have the mic, so I get to talk. You guys get to type. So share what it is that you're thinking, what's going on as you've gone through this process. If you've been able to hit any of these or even go back and hit some of them before, I'd love the interaction. I really appreciate that. I don't want it to just be me being a talking head here. Okay. So thank you guys for being here, and let's go ahead and dive in. Let me get the screen shared. So we got all the stuff that we need here in week 6. Share the audio. Okay. And Todd, good morning. Appreciate you listening while driving. Where are you heading, sir? So curious minds want to know. Okay. All right. So here we go. I'm going to put this up on screen and we will get it started here.
Last week, I told you that I was going to teach you how to set a goal that will literally quantum leap your success. Now, I told you that I set a goal to make $100,000. I had a mentor. He was worth $600 million. He said, Jack, I want you to set a goal that's so big that when you achieve it, you'll know it's only because of what I taught you that you were able to do it. And that will make you believe in these principles. So I said to Mr. Stone, my mentor, I said, okay, I want to make $100,000 in 1 year. Now, at that time, I was making $8,000. Now, that's a 12 times leap. And I had to choose to believe it. I wrote it down. I didn't know how to achieve it, but I made a commitment I was going to do it. Now, I'm going to tell you how I actually did it and some of those things coming in the next couple of modules. But for now, I'll be honest with you, I did not make $100,000 that year. I only made $93,235. But do you think I was disappointed? There was no way. My wife and I were blown away. We go, holy mackerel, this really works. And then she said, do you think it would work for $1 million? And I said, I don't know. Only one way to find out. So we used the same principles that we did to create the 100,000, well, the 92,000. And within a few years, I made my first check for $1 million. We'll get to that later. But for you, for now, I want to teach you what Mr. Stone taught me, which is to set what he called a breakthrough goal. A breakthrough goal is a goal that would quantum leap you, not just a little 5 or 10 or 15 or 20% increase, but like doubling your income, like having your own TV show, like writing a best-selling book, like winning a triathlon, like, having twice as many clients, whatever it might be, that would be something that would be so magical. You go, wow, I can't believe I actually did that. But you will, you'll see it, it works. And so I want you to set what we call a breakthrough goal, a goal that will quantum leap you, your profession, your company, or it could be some part of your personal life. I'll give you a couple examples. I had a chiropractor from Texas. He had a very small practice, and his goal was to have his own radio show. That he figured if his breakthrough goal was to have a radio show, he'd be a drive time radio, somewhere between 6 and 8 in the morning, 5 minutes, everyone would hear it. And pretty soon, anyone who needed a chiropractor would hear his name so many times that they would call him up. Less than a year later, he had 5 satellite offices around Dallas, and he was hiring kids coming out of chiropractic school to man those offices, and he would go to one each day. Another breakthrough goal was to have like Nike as a client. And then all of a sudden, this friend of mine's got a client called Nike, and he's manufacturing all their golf bags for them, and he's making a small fortune. Another breakthrough goal might be to write a best-selling book. Even if it's not best-selling, if you had a book, it would be a calling card that says, I'm a professional, I have credibility. An income goal, to make $1 million like mine was, whatever it might be. So think about what would be a breakthrough for you. If you would achieve it in 1 year, it would break you through to a new level. And what I want you
Hang tight here, guys. Having a little slowness in the internet for some reason. So let me see if I can fix that. And while we're fixing that, let me get Christine's point up here. He made a point that I've been making to people too. If you set a goal that stretches you, even if you don't quite get there, you're going to get further than you would otherwise. Aiming for something huge might only get you to something big, but it's still going to get you farther than thinking small. So great point, Christine. In fact, I think that's the biggest point of our Michelangelo shirts that we have. I'm actually wearing mine underneath the sweatshirt that I'm wearing.
Again, you can download the PDF.
So I'm gonna back up just a hair here, so I'm not talking over the top of him.
What would be a breakthrough for you? If you would achieve it in 1 year, it would break you through to a new level. And what I want you to do, again, you can download the PDF form that you have. And I want you to write down, my breakthrough goal is, I will what by 1 year from today. And then what you're going to do is you're going to read that every single day this week. And then in the following weeks, I'm going to teach you some other tools for how to take that and manifest it into reality. So remember, how much by when, be very specific. It's a breakthrough, not a little step. I was watching a football game the other day. The team came on the first play. They threw a 60-yard pass play. So they're 6/10 down the field in one play. Instead of grinding out four yards and 4 more yards and hoping to get a first down, I want the same thing to happen for you. But in order to do that, you first have to set that goal. So think about what would be a breakthrough, capture it, look at it, read it every day. Maybe you want to post that on your refrigerator door, post it on your mirror, and we'll see you next week. So make sure you do your homework, and we'll see you next week.
Okay. So there we go. So what are your thoughts, Christine? Thank you so much for the great comment there and bringing that to the table. Like I said, I totally agree with that. And I think that's interesting as well from the perspective of what we're talking about here is one of the things that I think challenges a lot of us is that we want to set these breakthrough goals, but yes, we have to believe that we can do it. And a lot of times the lack of belief that we can even get there is the first thing that's stopping us. So again, if you're starting with making $8,000 a year and then all of a sudden $100,000 in 1 year is what your goal is, that's a big jump, but it's not so big of a jump that you can't get there. And it's not so big of a jump that nobody's ever done it. In fact, I'm sure people have gone from 8,000 a year to $1 million a year. And is it going to take work? Absolutely. Is that work going to be exactly what you think it's going to be? Probably not. Is it going to be as hard as you think it's going to be? I would go with absolutely not. It will definitely be hard, but it will not be so hard that you can't achieve it by taking daily successful actions. All right. So let's get to the form here, and let me share that in the comments here real quick, and then I will put it up on screen so you guys can go download the form that he mentioned. So there it is in the comments, and let me get the Chrome tab up here. Okay. There we go. So here it is, identifying your breakthrough goal. And again, I'll let you guys read all that. We don't need to go through that. Now, here's, Julia said, I did this last year. My goal was to triple my income from last year by the end of the year. And I'm not sure if I will hit it exactly, but I will be really close. Julia, yes. All right. Great job. That's fantastic. And again, are you going to be disappointed if you don't make it all the way to triple? I hope not. I'll let you answer that question. But just think about that whole process of getting there. Did you know exactly how you were going to get there? Probably not. Now you had some ideas and you took action and you moved forward. So I love that. And I appreciate you sharing, Julia. That is so awesome. Jerry says, I have watched a lot of different people talk about goals. Some say to make small goals with short deadlines, but to build traction, more like in small wins to build on, but having some positive progress. Jerry, that is another part of this process. So when you're talking about small goals, though, I think the better way to look at that are to take small actions and then celebrate the success that comes out of those. To me, so the way I differentiate those are I set a goal, a bigger goal, a thing that I'm trying to achieve, which is the breakthrough goal in these bigger pieces. And then I call them milestones, the little bite-sized chunks that I can do and achieve, and the things that let me know that I'm heading in the right direction. It's kind of the guardrail, so to speak, to reaching those goals. And so I think that is a very important piece of this, is to not, set this big goal, but then you do have to take the small actions, and you got to start getting momentum, and you got to start building the compound interest idea, so to speak, is, and start small, invest small, build. So all of that is true. But if you just start with a small goal and just only do that small goal, it won't be significant enough for you to take the significant actions that need to be taken along the way. I mean, there are going to be some big hurdles that you have to overcome. It's just the way life works. And so to overcome those big hurdles, we have to see that bigger vision. We have to have something bigger that we're shooting for. And then we can chunk it down from there. In fact, that's the success principle in Jack Canfield's book. It's called Chunking It Down. And that's, again, yes, do these little things. So if that big, hairy, audacious goal is too scary to take action on right now today, to just do the one big thing that you could do to get there, then totally understandable. What is the one little thing I can do today that will get me one small step closer to my goal? So that's the way I look at it, Jerry, from my own personal opinion and the way that Jack teaches it in the success principles. So let's see here. So no, not at all. I am proud of myself and how far I have come. Good, Julia. You should be. You absolutely deserve that. That being proud of yourself, and I'm proud to call you a friend and to know that you're making those strides. So thank you very much for sharing that, and that's really cool. And so, all right. So back to our form here. What are those things? Your breakthrough goals, and then how much and by when. Now. I'm not here to pitch you guys or anything like that. And some of you are already part of the Success Tracker program, but I do want to share that for those that are not, because one other way that we can help with this is doing a breakthrough goal and then making it a success tracker, because what that's also going to add on there for you is some additional support, some checking in, and just, you're going to get some fun stuff along the way. So if you go to oursuccessgroup.com/ST, and then I'm going to give you guys a little discount code here. For those of you that are OSG members, it's only $1, but for everybody else, it's $25, and we've got a 20% discount code that you can use. So just put in the code THANKS with an S, THANKS, and that will get you signed up for Success Tracker. The reason why I bring this up here is that if you really want to hit that breakthrough goal, you got to share it with other people. You got to get out there. You got to be pushed. You got to have somebody going, "Hey, Aaron, didn't you say you were going to become Success Principles certified by the end of the year?" Because when somebody says that to me, I go, "Oh crap, I do really need to make sure that I get after it and I get these things done." So, all right, comments coming in. Thank you guys. Christine, in the Women Plus Business podcast on Wednesdays, I talked about BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals. I love BHAGs. I love that. And decided we should all get shirts saying, "Be that hag," to remind us to keep thinking big and aiming for big goals. Plus, I think a lot of women wearing those shirts would be funny. I agree. Oh, that's awesome. That is really cool. I love it, Christine. Thank you for sharing. Nan says, "I love the motivation this brings to us every week, how this builds on what Aaron is bringing us with the Success Tracker by breaking it down and walking us through it further." Oh, Nan, that's really nice of you to say. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I enjoy sharing, and I also enjoy all the feedback that you guys are giving me. Not only enjoying it, but it's huge for me and my life personally. So thank you guys for participating and sharing that stuff, because it helps me better myself too, and grow and understand. I'm learning how to, Jerry's point about breaking that stuff down. Maybe I don't bring that up enough. And so, and maybe I don't do that enough for myself. I know one of my challenges personally is that I do reach for these goals, but I do forget the little steps that I've made along the way, and so I'm like, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. Well, it's okay, because I'm a lot closer to it than I've ever been before this. So, all right, guys. Well, that's mainly what I had for you all today. I didn't want to spend too much time with you this morning, but I'm happy to continue the conversation. So if you guys have other questions, comments, thoughts to share, I'd love to hear how you guys have progressed through this. I will tell you, I give you a heads up here at the end that I am going to ask you guys to quote unquote turn in your slips, each of the worksheets, if you'd like to share them with me. And anybody that would like to share them with me, we will get a half an hour call together. And if you'll share all 10 of the worksheets with me, and we will do a half an hour call together and just go through them. And I'm happy to answer questions. I'm happy to share my thoughts. I'm happy to listen, whatever it is that you need to put these 10-week programs together. So I'm just giving you guys that heads up in advance here that that will be happening after we complete the 10-week program. And we'll start putting that together for anybody that wants to share. All right. Julia says, "My business growing and meeting my goals would not be anywhere without all the help I've gotten from you." Wow, Julia, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I just appreciate that. It makes me feel really good, but also makes me feel very humbled at the same time. So thank you. Jerry says, I am moving to my goal slowly, but moving forward. Perfect. And that's all you got to do, Jerry. That is celebrate that. I keep thinking back to the book, The Slight Edge, that I mentioned before. And I think that's a really great book to read to understand that process, that doing the small things. He calls it the slight edge, but just the minor things that we do to make ourselves better every day. If we can compound enough of those over time on top of each other, we will be able to achieve anything that we want. I mean, here's a great way to look at it from my perspective. And I have to do this more often, and I've made a point to do this more often in my own life. But think about, go back and get real specific. I use Google Photos, so that helps me a ton because I can look back and actually see specifically what was going on 3, 4, 5 years ago, and go back and look at where you were 3, 4, 5 years ago, and get into the specifics of what it was. What were you doing? What were you, 5 years ago, I was still working at Coastal Business. 4 years ago, I just left and was starting with Pick the Gift. I mean, our success group's only been around for less than a year still. And I have to remember how proud I am of what it is that we've all done together as a community. So that has been really helpful for me, Jerry, is to take the time every once in a while, monthly, whatever, to go back and look at where I was 3, 4, 5 years ago and realize that though I may not be at my goal yet, I am still way closer to it than I ever was before. So, all right, Christine, I have to say, I've been a bit at sea figuring out what I want to do since my situation changed due to COVID. This series has helped clarify some things for me. Christine, I am so excited to see all the things. I as terrible as it was that I know you went through some things and that you had to leave what you were doing and that you really made what you were doing what it is today. I feel that the silver lining in all of that is going to be so incredible and going to be so incredible for our community, the decorators community, that we now get you to ourselves and the things that you're going to do and have already done with that. I'm really excited to see that. So proud to have you as somebody I can reach out to and share and do the things that we get to do together. So hopefully the clarity is really helping build some momentum for you. Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, unless there's anything else, I think I'm going to go ahead and close it out next week. So we've kind of got the vision. We've got some of the bigger picture stuff. Now we started breaking down the goals a little bit and got a list of everything we want plus some goals. And now we've got our as Christine mentioned, our BHAG. The BHAG is one of those things that it's fun. It's fun to say, but it's also something that really is going to drive you forward. And then next week, we're going to talk about the first part. I think he talks about it twice here, is taking 100% responsibility. Nan, if you're still here, and Valerie, I know you guys went through a program with Kylene last Wednesday, the Masters of Success folks. Be the hag. I like that, Christine. The Masters of Success team went through a program about taking 100% responsibility. So looking forward to sharing that with you all next week, the 100% responsibility thing. To me, that's such an empowering feeling. At first, it feels a little overwhelming that, I have to take 100% responsibility for everything in my life. But once you get beyond that overwhelm and into the realization that I get to take 100% responsibility for my life, that I am empowered to do anything and be anything that I want to be. And so that's what we're going to talk about next week. Let's see here. Good. Well, you were making me blush, so I was trying to return the favor. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Saturday. I am going to be on the road next week, but we'll be coming to you from a hotel room. So fingers crossed that all the technology and internet works well for me. But looking forward to sharing with you all again next week. And Let's get this comment real quick, Christina. That's awesome. Taking responsibility for your life is so important. Until you do that, you won't move forward. High five. Perfect in every way. All right, you guys. Have a great Saturday, and looking forward to talking to everybody. Same time, 8 o'clock Central Time. Be happening next Saturday. All right. Thanks, Valerie. Appreciate it. Talk to everybody soon.